Rabbis get a little strange in August. For me, pre-high holiday psychosis starts with listening to every sermon I can get my hands on. It doesn't matter what denomination it comes from, what geography it comes from, or even sometimes if I completely know the language it's delivered in. Any sermon, anywhere will do, which is how I found myself eagerly tuned in Sunday morning to the Marsh Chapel service on WBUR, listening to organ music as a liturgy leader somberly intoned, awaiting the Sunday sermon. Unfortunately, immediately before it began, I was interrupted, and I only heard the title of the sermon announced. It's a title I've been thinking about all week. The title was Have a Good Summer. Now, on Monday, as soon as I could, I went to the website to try to find the transcript, but it hadn't yet been posted. So I was left to imagine what the preacher might have said. Or more specifically, as the week went on, as a puzzle of if I were going to give a sermon with that title, what would I say? I was immediately taken with the double meaning of the word good. Good, relaxing, or good, reworking. Good, enjoying, or good, creating enjoyment for others. Good, resting, or good, repairing. What does it mean to have a good summer? It can mean to unplug and rest in a bubble of our own making, to take a break from the news and just read a good book, put down our tech and spend time around a table or at the seashore, just playing a game with family and friends, hiking, biking, feeling good. And all of those things are worthy and beautiful endeavors. Yet in the endless brokenness of the world around us, that kind of good doesn't always feel good. I was thinking about that as the news reports came out early this week about rockets over Tel Aviv and the retaliatory operation in Gaza. It was so tempting to just turn the news off. It was just so hard to hear. And all that suffering clangs with the weather outside. What would it be like for us to have a good summer in that context? How can we have a good summer in that context? Listening to an interview with Razia Iqbal of the BBC, I was struck by how hostile she was to the Israeli representative who tried to explain what it meant to have a terrorist organization gunning for you, what it was like to live with bombs launched at your city centers who do not exact death tolls, not because the terrorists don't intend to kill, but because there is the protection of Iron Dome. And I wonder, good summer when things are not good. Because even if we're on the beach enjoying endless sand, the world around us constantly afflicts us with a spiritual sand that discomforts and calls all of us like an oyster aggravated with even a single grain of sand to do what we can to make a pearl. What can we do? It's Shabbat Nachamu, the Shabbat of comfort. This is the Shabbat after the destruction, the Shabbat of rebuilding a world, the Shabbat which invites us to feel good by doing good. And so this week, at the suggestion of Alice Langton and Debbie DeBotton, I reached out to a Christian colleague at GBIO. We sat in the beautiful summer sunshine under the gazebo, sipping a cup of cold coffee, and I shared with her my broken heart and my experience in Israel last month of an active, vibrant dialogue between and among Jews and Arabs with a huge range of political positions trying to build a bridge to a better world. We spoke about the mapping project, and I shared what it feels like to be a Jew in Boston today. And I invited her to be our ally, to stand publicly in her community against it. By the time that the hour was over, we had a plan in place to bring together more Christian clergy, to dialogue with them about Israel, about Jews in Boston, so that they can share what is hurting in our hearts with their communities, so that they can become better allies, and we can learn and grow together, standing together in this world. It's just a start, but as we parted ways, I found myself humming Nachamu, Nachamu, comfort, comfort, the comfort of good conversation leading to good action, the start of a good summer. In the sea of summer sand, what is your irritant? What is keeping you up and troubling your heart and saying to you, how can I have a good summer when it is not good? May I suggest to you that that irritant is there for a reason. It's not to get in the way of your good summer. It is to call you, to invite you, to respond with action, no matter how large or how small, to make this summer, this moment, a little more good. And it might be something that's long-standing and obvious, for which you can put in place a practical plan. Maybe you've been putting it off, but you know you really should do it. Or maybe it's something that appears in a moment and invites you to be ready to meet the moment, a moment you can't prepare for. But each piece of your heartache is preparing you for already, right now. It might appear to you as something wrong that you, in a moment, can rise to repair. That's what happened last week to Isaiah Zay Jarvis on a Little League field in Waco, Texas. You may have seen this come across your computer screen. It's a story that has gone viral. And it's gone viral for a very important reason. Because you see, this story didn't start out well at all. In fact, just moments before, the pitcher from the other team, Caden Bubs Shelton, had accidentally pitched a ball that hit Jarvis square in the head. Jarvis fell to the ground, and everyone in the stadium held their breath in terror. But it was okay. His helmet caught most of the impact, and he was okay. He got up and he walked to first base. However, with every eye in the crowd on Zay, the fallen batter, no one noticed the pitcher. No one, that is, except for Zay. Up on the pitcher's mound, filled with an overwhelming sense of deep responsibility for the possibility that he had been responsible for hurting someone else, Caden had started to cry. Zay immediately movingly walked over to give Caden a hug. He said later, if you're throwing hard and you hit somebody in the head, it's gotta be a scary thing. So I just went over there to make sure he was all right, to make sure that he knows I'm all right. Nachamu, nachamu, comfort, comfort. By bringing our comfort to others, may we receive the comfort that enables us to make for ourselves and for our world a good summer. Shabbat shalom.